Hey everyone, it's LS, and this is the patch 8.20 notes rundown. I am a little bit afraid because before I did this patch notes, I was warned on Twitter that I was going to be disappointed, and previously I had said that I was actually looking forward to patch 8.20 because I thought that this is where Riot would actually start implementing some big changes. Maybe they're actually just going to wait for a later patch before we start getting close to preseason. So the Ezreal W has been redesigned. W Essence Flux damage 75 to 255 magic damage scaling, 0.6 bonus attack damage ratio plus 0.7 ability power. Range now same as Mystic Shot, cooldown 12 seconds, orb duration 4 seconds. Mana refund ability on detonation 60 plus the cost of the ability. I actually don't mind. Ezreal's still Ezreal, so you don't have to worry about that. I actually really like his update on everything. I think that Riot actually did a fantastic job, so we're not going to spend too much time talking about him. Ahri, R cooldown increased early. This is a very random change, this is one of those filler changes that we've talked about in recent patches. It's a change where someone decided that after 2 weeks or something of deliberations or what they're going to do this patch, they're like, you know what? Let's just look for some champions to change. And I don't actually... Is Ahri the first champion in League of Legends? No, not alphabetically. She's not the first champion, right? They didn't actually just go down Aatrox, right? Okay, but well, actually, maybe they went down the list. Who's after Aatrox? Who's after Aatrox? Is it Ahri? Is Ahri after Aatrox? Ah, shit! They're sitting at the board meeting and they're flipping a page and they're like, all right, can we do something at Aatrox this week? We need something. They're like, no, we just did something to him. They're like, all right, what about Ahri? They're like, that fucking works. They're like, all right, throw her in. Like, what are we gonna do to her? And they're like, well, we can't do too much. They're like, all right, how about her R? That'll really bring her in line. Now, let's not actually change her though. We're gonna make her rank 3 ultimate the same exact cooldown. Everyone's sitting around the desk like, I mean, that sounds good to me. Sounds pretty good. And that's how they finished here. So Evelynn, empowered E damage decreased early, R damage decreased. So E whiplash, empowered damage 95 to 175 to 75 to 175. R last caress 150 to 400 scaling, 125 to 375 scaling. Execute damage 300 to 800, 250 to 7. It's actually really big. Evelynn is a little bit of a solo queue menace. I know that Korea, when I had stopped playing about 3 weeks ago or whatever, Korea was actually starting to ban her quite a lot. I don't actually know how prevalent she is in NA or EU. But I actually think that these changes are okay. I think that something needs to be done to Evelynn in order to make her competitively viable. But I think that putting a lid on her solo queue ability, especially at the high end, I think this is actually a pretty nice way to touch on it. Graves, base AD decreased. For how well he scales, Graves takes... You can't make this shit up. It's like a fucking plastic surgery clinic. These fucking patch notes have more filler. Oh my god, than a Hollywood actress's cheeks. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Oh my Jesus Christ. It's like looking at Nicki Minaj's ass. What am I? Oh god, Jhin. Hail of Blades no longer applies to Jin's first basic attack, Passive Whisper. Does this mean that he no longer moves super fast? I don't totally... I know that a lot of people were complaining about Jhin, but even when people were complaining about him, I didn't actually see him that often on Korea, so I'm using a lifeline right now with Twitch chat that okay, I guess he's not as fast. Nami, W heal decreased. We're making Nami and her carry less resilient to threats from aggressive enemy lanes, ebb and flow. So this change is actually quite big because W, I believe, is what you max first on Nami. 65 to 185 scaling, 0.3 ability power to 60 to 160 scaling to 0.3 ability power. So the things that we're looking at here is we are looking at rank 1, which if you cast it, depending on what lane matchup is and how you're going to go about it, maybe you lose like 10 HP. And then what we're looking at is we're looking at the rank 3, so we have 15 here. Now, the issue here is that you could potentially lose just under 100 HP. depending on how much sustain you go through and what exactly the lane matchups are. And this is actually quite a sizable hit. The ability power has not really changed. Late game, it's not really going to matter. The 4th point in it, again, this doesn't really matter all that much. You can maybe feel this in mid-game sieges or mid-game stalemates, but for the most part, the things that you're going to feel the most are the rank 2 and the rank 3. The rank 2 might actually be more impactful than the rank 3, depending on when the recall timers are, and again, what the lane matchups are in bottom lane. But this is where you're really going to feel it. And this is very different than just a small AD nerf on an AD carry or something like that. This is... I mean, it can add up to like a potion, which when you take that into account and what it means for bottom lane, that's actually very scary. For lanes where Nami is going to be predominantly the bully, though, I don't think that it impacts her nearly as much as balanced lanes like 40-60 lanes or 45-55 lanes. In lanes where Nami is going to be a part of the 70, it's not really going to be too impactful. But in lanes where Nami is the 30 or if Nami is like the 25, this is where you're really, really going to feel it. Okay, Sion, base health regen decreased. Base health regen 9 per 5 seconds to 7.5 per 5 seconds. Not really so bad. I don't know why they're not touching Sion more since the World's patch is already locked in. So if they wanted to do something to Sion, they could definitely hit him a lot harder than this, but maybe they're just waiting until preseason. Rune's Dark Harvest based damage decreased 40 to 80 levels 1 through 18, 20 to 60 level 1 to 18. This is a really big nerf to the Rune, but the issue is that again, preseason is just around the corner, and so with assumed massive changes coming up, it's really hard for me to judge exactly how impactful this is going to be, because I just assume that so much is going to be changed. And on that topic, like when so much is going to be changed, I don't know why Riot's not being a little bit more reckless with maybe trying to, because I showed on stream the clip of, was it Riot Maple? Or was it Riot August? I can't remember who it was, commented on my suggestion of over-tuning a champion, then hot-fixing them and dialing them back if they were actually too problematic. I'm really surprised that we're already done with the champions, we're moving on into runes in patch 8.20, and we haven't seen that yet. Well, I mean, we're not going to see it, I guess, at least not in 8.20. Really, really surprised by that, again, because okay, we're done with the patch notes. Oh my god. Okay, well, okay, Hextech Malzahar looks like, I don't actually know what Hextech Malzahar looks like. Looks like Iron Man got cancer or something. Can I say that? Oh, Jesus. I don't, okay, well, the Amumu skin is adorable. The Amumu skin is absolutely fantastic. This is actually one of the cutest skins in the entire world. There's some video game where it looks just like this. I don't actually know what game it was. Does anyone in Twitch chat know? Is it something from Sonic? I don't actually know. Oh man. Yeah, I mean he kind of looks like Ultron too. I don't know. It just looks like a very sickly Iron Man or a very sickly Ultron. Like, I don't look at this image and think, wow, how cool. I actually look at this and I see illness. I don't know if anyone else is feeling that. I feel like the background is very dark. I feel like it does not elicit good feelings. I feel like it looks like it's like a wreck, right? Like it's all rubbish around him. And I do not feel like this guy looks very healthy. I don't feel personally good looking at this splash art. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe they're trying to say something about Malzahar's space aids on his Z. I don't really know. Maybe the Green Goblin, wasn't he dying of something? I mean, these kind of look like his bombs. Or I don't know what to say. That's not a very pleasant skin for me. This is adorable, though. What is this? What is this skin? Dragon Trainer Heimerdinger. So he's moved on from mechanical... What if he's experimenting on dragons? Oh my god. Maybe him and Lulu is like the next 50 Shades of Grey. That'd be fantastic. Can you imagine? That's a Rule 34 if I've ever seen one. All right, so let's just recap on the patch rundown. I hope that you guys all enjoyed this. Let's see. All right, so Ezreal change is perfectly fine. The only real change that we experienced in this patch is Evelynn and then Nami. Evelynn is a predominantly only solo queue based change, whereas Nami is going to be solo queue and competitive. And I already talked about in what ways it's going to affect Nami. I think that the changes to Sion, Jhin, Ahri, Graves are all just basically filler. I mean, well, the Jhin thing isn't filler. I guess that it's a reasonable bug fix thing, but definitely the Graves, Ahri, and Sion are all just filler. The Dark Harvest I don't think matters, again, because preseason's right around the corner. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this patch rundown. I'm really looking forward to finally getting to do a patch rundown where they just make a lot of changes, and I can really dig into what that could mean for a meta shakeup, because we've had a very stale and stagnant meta for too long now. It's been a couple of months.